introduction again. How about that? Okay, I think we're recording. So welcome to the webinar. This webinar is how to increase your Twitter following and engagement. And we're really excited to have you here. And we're excited to, by we, I mean Bill and I. My name is Sunil. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a business coach here in the Bay Area and worldwide since 1991. I'm a published author, and Bill and I have created a following which is on the order of about 20,000 or so. We want to teach you how to do that, and in a moment we'll introduce Steve as well. But Bill, why don't I hand over the make you the host and get you going on your introduction as well.
Okay. You give it to me yet?
I give it over to you, so you're the host.
Okay, I'm fixing to share the screen. You let me know, Steve, or when you guys can see that.
I can see it.
All right, look at that handsome fella. I tell you, that's scary for a Saturday morning. I'm going to try not to talk too long. This is Steve, so it was my turn to talk, and as soon as I knew I could get Steve on here, I thought, man, this is like way cool for me. I hate to give up a microphone. I love to talk, but if I'm going to give it up, this is the person I want to give it to. Steve Cartwright is consistently ranked in the top 10 content marketers in the world. I can say that because it's true. You can see there's his Twitter page. The guy should be flailed for introducing me to this, what I'm doing here, because now I'm addicted to the dumb thing. And all I do is go to Twitter every day and look at numbers, and it drives me nuts, but it's his fault. But you can see there he has 156,000 real followers, hard-earned followers that he's gone after day after day. And he taught me how to do that. And so if I told you that I doubled my Twitter following because of him, you would say, well, how many did you start with? If I had 10 people and I went to 20 people, who cares? But that's not what happened. I went from 10 to, okay, let's go back here. There it is. I started on June 14th. I had 11,000 nominal followers, even if I could call that. So I didn't go from 10 to 20. I went from 11,000 to 23,000. So 11,000 to 23,000, and those are real followers. I'm going to prove that to you before I give this to Steve. Go to this is my Google Analytics account. There it is, WC Ballou. That's me. From June 14th to August 7th, 797 Twitter sessions. 797 Twitter sessions.
Wow. You
can see before that I had 15. So before Steve, 15 people in 7 weeks came to my 15 sessions from Twitter. 10 people from Twitter came for 7 weeks after Steve. Now it's 600 people. So that's about as real as you can get for proof of engagement. But I'll go farther. See, they're 3 minutes apiece. 3 minutes per person out of these 600. So that's 3 times 600. That's 1,800 minutes of engagement from Twitter because of what Steve taught me. Now, so twice as many people, from 11,000 to 20,000. From those 20,000, from those new 10,000 new people, 600 of them came to my website, and they're spending 3 minutes on average per piece. That's real Twitter followers. That's real engagement, and it's Steve's fault. So this is the guy who's going to teach you how he taught me. You pay attention. This is what happens. So Steve, it's midnight for Steve. It's way cool that he bothered to stay up this late for us. It's going to be golden. Sunil, you should take this back. Steve, welcome. I really genuinely appreciate you giving us your time this evening. Thanks a lot.
All right, Steve. So you should be host here any second. And then you can share your screen. There you go.
All right, let's share the screen. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Twitter fast. Got it.
Here we go. We'll start with the basics, and then as we progress, we'll get to the fun stuff, and I'll show you my Twitter stats, and I might even show you my Google stats since Bill showed you his. Let's see if mine are bigger.
They're bigger. Show off.
Right. This is me. I play on the internet, I've been on for 20 odd years, and in various countries around the world. I work with clients all over the place. This is what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn the Twitter basics, how to use Twitter, and the things that most people keep quiet. All right. Why use Twitter? Simple answer is it works. The longer answer is it works better than anything else. There are approximately 1 billion Twitter registered users in the world. Of those 1 billion, 300 million or 302 are active users. Of those 300 million, 100 million are daily users. Twitter growth, unlike a lot of the social networks, is still growing. It's expected to grow at 9% this year, and it's forecast to grow for the foreseeable future, with places like India and such places expanding rapidly. Most people use Twitter on smartphones, especially in the US, where smartphones have reached critical mass. So it's approximately 80% of people access Twitter via smartphones. And the takeaway there is, if you're linking to a website from Twitter, make sure it works on a mobile. Otherwise, they just bounce straight off. This is my Twitter account from June, and some of the stats at the top. As you can see, I sent 4,500 tweets that month. I had 7 million impressions, which basically means it was shown on somebody's screen 7 million times. I had 40,000 profile views, so 40,000 people went and looked at my profile. I was mentioned 2,700 times, and I gained 12,000 followers that month. Right? And tweets linking to me 19.4. We're getting to stats properly. I just wanted to show a little bit of credibility. All right, moving on. What is Twitter? 140 characters. When I first heard about Twitter, I just thought that's just the strangest thing. How can you connect with anybody with 140 characters? It just sounds impossible. But it's actually quite easy once you get into it, and it's just amazing. 140 characters basically means you've got 120 characters plus a link. And the messages you send are called tweets, and anybody can see a tweet. Any registered user can use a tweet, send a tweet, and unregistered users can read them as well. Tweets are not private, so don't send any private messages in tweets. Twitter is an information network. Every single business that has an online presence should be using Twitter. Twitter is similar to text messages, media messages, especially now with video and SlideShare and all sorts of stuff being fully interactive within Twitter itself now. Twitter, like every social media platform, is about relationships. You develop relationships with your audience, you have conversations, all sorts. Really, once you've got those relationships, you'll get work. Sign up. Simply go to twitter.com, register for an account. You select what your username is. It has to be unique. So the choices nowadays with 1 billion registered users are a little slim. You get some strange ones. Select whatever you can. You can always change it very easily later on. Your social media profile. If you remember at the start when I showed you my tweets, I said that I've had 40,000 profile views. That's 40,000 people saw my profile. So you have to get your profile right. Otherwise, your one chance to impress that person, to get them to engage with you, to perhaps send you an inquiry, has gone. So spend some time on your Twitter profile. You need to put your name in there, your website, your location. You have a little bio summary, 160 characters long. People view your profile by clicking on your username. You have an avatar, which is normally a picture of yourself. Don't use a logo. People like to connect with people, so use a picture of yourself if possible. The more professional it looks, and professionally taken, I should say, the better. That's 400 by 400. You have an header image, and your header image size is 1500 by 500 pixels. However, that is responsive, which means that depending on the screen size, depends how much of that image is actually shown. And changes can be made to your profile at any time by clicking the Edit Profile button, which I will show you when we go to a live Twitter account. And everybody has a story. Back here. Tweets. It's all about tweets. On the left, typical tweet. Tweets nowadays for best engagement consist of a headline, a link, and a hashtag. And they normally have a picture. Picture doubles the engagement of a tweet. Tweets enable you to share any information. Simply type it in, click send, and off it goes. Tweets are limited to 140 characters. If you want a link, you should use a URL shortener to shorten that link. I like Google's if I'm going to do it manually, simply because it provides you stats. You can see how many people have clicked your link, and it's very useful. Hashtags are I built my following to 100,000 people without using a single hashtag. So although they are important, they're not the be all and end all, but I would advise anyone to try to use hashtags. And I put an example in there of a wedding dress. Consider using wedding dresses in your tweet as a hashtag. And tweets are viewable by anybody. Anybody. All your followers will see them, but anybody can potentially see them. Direct messages. Now, direct messages are slightly different. They're like little private messages that you can send to people. But Twitter did something wonderful late last year. They allowed you to have up to 20 people in a direct message group, so even people that you're not following. So if all of your followers had seen somebody else for that direct message group, you can have like a private conversation via Twitter with up to 20 people. So that is really useful for sales teams and people located in different countries, etc. Like we could have arranged this webinar via Twitter in a little direct message group, for instance, in real time. Direct messages are private. They go directly to the person and they're not viewable by the general public. So if you've got some private messages, some information you don't want shared, don't send it via a tweet. Send it via a direct message. Followers. Followers are people that can see, that follow you and can see your timeline. You can follow people, but they don't have to follow you back. That's an important thing to note. That and tweets from those people you follow appear in your timeline. The more people you follow, the quicker your timeline flows. Your tweets appear in the timeline of the people following you. So, nice and simple. Retweets. A retweet is when somebody sees your tweet in their timeline and clicks the retweet button. And Twitter now allows you to add in a comment, which is extremely useful. So I can retweet one of Bill's tweets and say, this is really good, I suggest you read it, or something along those lines. And it increases the engagement Bill will get with the tweet, if that makes sense. So you also break the 160 character rule. Bill's tweet.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
You may want to speak right into the microphone. You're going in and out. Just let
Okay, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Right. Did we all get that on retweets? I'm assuming we did. Right. Twitter. To succeed at Twitter, you have to perfect your Twitter profile. Simple fact is that all you have to really do is go and find someone really cool on Twitter that's got a really good profile. Have a look what they've done and adapt it to suit your needs. Not copy it, adapt. So you take the best from, say, 6 people and make it your own. That's the beauty of anything online. You can take and share and repurpose other people's content to make it yourself. Make your profile work for you. You need to tweet regularly. The life of a tweet is approximately 8 minutes. It's 8 to 15, and you can rarely get a retweet after an hour or two, but it's not very often. So understand that the average tweet life is 8 minutes. That doesn't mean you send a tweet every 8 minutes. It means that the average life is 1. You need to grow your account, which we'll get into. I'll show you exactly how to do that.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! That's why you bought online. I know. There's an unwritten rule of Twitter that if someone follows you, you follow them back. And that holds true most of the time. And it typically works about 40% of people will follow you. But everybody's trying to... When you get to 2,000 followers on Twitter, and if you haven't got 2,000 followers back, Twitter stops you. It's called a roadblock. You can't follow more people than are following you, more than 10% ratio, if that makes sense. So if you've got 1,820 people, you can only follow 2,000. If you've got 1,900 people, it'll break the 2,000. Your number of people following you plus 10%. And that's to stop people following thousands and thousands and thousands of people from like a spam aspect, if that makes sense. It's built into Twitter. Everybody has to deal with it. And it's very, very easy to deal with it. You can break that Twitter barrier in 1 to 2 days very easily with what I'm going to show you. You need to engage your followers. And that means you need to speak to them. You need to retweet your influencers, the people that interest you, favorite their tweets. You literally do to other people what you want them to do to you. So it's a mutual benefit, if that makes sense. You need to become a resource to other people. So when people ask you questions, which they will do, you answer those questions, or you point them in the right direction. I don't know that, but if you go here, I'm sure these people will. Just like networking in the real world, it's very, very easy. You just got to be open, friendly, be yourself, and share what you know, and be honest about what you don't know. You have to learn the lingo somewhat, but as I said at the start, I grew my following to 100,000 people without using a hashtag. So learn the lingo as you go along, but don't get hung up about it, because it's not that all important. The most important ones are the RT, retweet, PRT, please retweet, etc. Hootsuite, we'll miss that as you show you that live. 3-star tips, we'll miss that. Speeding through. Right, let's get into some interesting stuff, shall we? Can you just, my screen should have changed to my real Twitter account. Can you see that? No one answering?
No.
Good.
No.
Oh.
Slide 18 of 18.
Hmm?
We don't see your Twitter account.
Don't you?
Your slide.
Oh, it's paused. Sorry, it's paused. I've got to resume sharing. I've got to stop new share. There we go. 1 second. There we go. Can you see it now?
No, not yet.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Right, this is my Twitter account. As you can see, from June to now, I've grown to 156,000 people now. I've still got that pinned tweet at the top. Tweets are wonderful because you can pin a tweet by clicking there and it will stop at the top of your profile, so that if you've got a favorite tweet you want people to push out, that's where it sits. That one's been retweeted 177 times and favored 221. These are my current tweets going out. Lots and lots of them. As you see, they've all got pictures. Unless I send a direct message, which I did about the webinar, which we can see just there. Even that got some engagement. It got retweeted and favored twice. You see, as you can see, this is where something's retweeted. That's where it's favored, and that's the stats for each tweet. Go back. Home. Let's teach you how to make a tweet. How do you write a tweet? Text in here, blah, 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 and click tweet. Simple as that. Add a photo. You click there and add your photo. And click tweet. Off we go. Nice, easy. Notifications. These are things that people are doing. So, as I said about the text that people can write when they retweet, love this, and he's sending that to his people, and that's my tweet there. See, so it's real engagement. He's sending those people, New York Times, etc. So, and this is what's happening. That's someone retweeting off my website, etc. So there's lots and lots of engagement going on. And these are direct messages. So, if we go back to my profile, here, on the right hand side here, there is an edit button. That is how you edit your profile. If, let me share a secret with, when you follow people, the maximum number of people you can normally follow on Twitter a day is about 1,000. It stops there. I discovered this secret quite a while ago. I've not even shared this with Bill, I don't think.
No, you haven't. I'm listening.
If you go to somebody's lists and they've got a public list, my list is private, but if you go to someone's list and it's open, you can view that list. If you've hit your Twitter following limit for the day of 1,000, you can normally follow 200, 300, 400, 500 people extra on a list. So it allows you to break the Twitter barrier, if that makes sense, and gain more followers. So you can click a list and off you go.
Where's Steve's list? I want to start clicking.
You can't, it's private. Yeah, private lists, open lists of influencers are very, very useful because you could, if you wanted to find all the media companies associated with your industry, for instance, all you have to do is find an influencer in your industry that's got lists, and a lot of them have media contacts in them lists. You just go down and go follow, 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 follow. Nice and easy. And 40% of those people will follow you back on average. This is Hootsuite, right? This is the free version. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for this one. And I have my Twitter account set up in here. So I've got my tweets on the left, all my mentions here. Anyone mention my name, which is FX_digital. I get notification there, so I never miss anything. These are all my retweets that people have done, and obviously all the messages that I've been sent. So you never actually miss anything with Twitter, no matter how busy you are. It's very, very easy. This is free. It's called Hootsuite. Everybody should sign up for it. You can schedule quick this and all sorts of things. As you say, I use the free version because I simply use this. I also use this tool. Crowdfire. I don't know what that banging is. Coming from here.
Yeah, whoever's on the type, who's typing, if you can cut it down, that'd be great. Thank you.
That's me. I found the list of influencer and I'm following them. I really am. I've got, this guy's got 4,000 followers and I'm in there clicking, click, click, click. Let me mute myself here. Then I'll.
Why don't you mute yourself, Bill? Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, I've been wanting to do that for Bill for years.
Good luck with that. Let me know how it works for you. All right.
Crowdfire. Now, there's lots of similar tools like Social and all sorts of tools that allow you to do similar to this. This is the one I'm using at the moment. It's got its good points and it's got its bad points. It allows me to see instantly who the people following me are that aren't following me back. Like these people here. All right. Now, if you remember the rule of Twitter, which is that you can follow people and 40% will follow you back. When you get to 2,000, you'll find that you can't follow anybody. So all you simply do is unfollow the people that aren't following you. All right, you should write that down. Unfollow the people that aren't following you. If it's somebody you really, really want to follow, add them to a list. And then unfollow them on here. By doing that, you will find that
Steve, just a quick question. So that's Crowdfire app, is that right?
Yep. .com.
Okay. Thank you.
If you type in Crowdfire in Google, you go straight there. It used to be called Just Unfollow when I signed up, and they do special discounts and stuff. Also, for the paid ones every so often, like on Black Friday and stuff like that. So it's really useful. There's some free versions out there. This is the one I'm using at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I use.
You have to be careful with Twitter. There are some apps that have come out that I know of that fully automate it. The trouble with that is it's against the terms and conditions of Twitter, and accounts will be closed down. And once you've built a substantial following, you don't want to risk your account being closed down. So be very, very careful of the automated systems. This gets around that because you have to physically click buttons to make this one work. But this is within the terms of and conditions, the API usage. So if I was to unfollow, it's as simple as clicking a button. As you can see, they're just going. It's as simple as that. That's how you unfollow people. This is how these are inactive followers. So these are people that haven't been on Twitter for a month, 3 months, 6 months. This allows you to build up so that you've got more followers than the people you're following. So if I was to click 3 months, for instance, it's probably safe to unfollow these people because they're not going to come back, if that makes sense. Someone's not been on Twitter for 3 months, so that won the lottery, whereas they don't care or they've given up. And that happens quite a lot.
Right.
Right. These are your recent followers. So because I've got a lot of Twitter followers, I'm trying to build up more followers than I follow. I work slightly differently. So I've got this person here from whatever country he's from. And he obviously doesn't speak English. He's got a lot of people following him, etc. And if I wanted to follow him, he'd probably stay following me. But I tend to work on the premise now that I only follow people if I can understand what they're going to write. Otherwise, they're not in my target audience. So I don't worry about it. So all I do is scroll down here. If there's somebody with lots of followers, I will follow them. Otherwise, I'm afraid generally out of luck if you've not got more than 10,000 followers, unless I'm just doing a general follow. So that person there, I would probably follow by clicking the button. I've hit my limit for the day, so I can't. But keyword follow. Now, this is where you can target your followers. If I move that screen with us on it, properly. All right. So I can target whatever I want. If I wanted to target marketing. All these people have content marketing in their profile or something to do with them. And then I can apply a location. So I could put anywhere, London, for instance. See, London, United Kingdom. And then it'll pull up all the people in content marketing. There's obviously not a lot of people there doing content marketing in London. There you go. Put the space in. There we go. So if I was based in London and I wanted to sell to people doing content marketing, I would click that button. If I was into swimming pools, if I sold fiberglass, for instance, and I wanted to sell it to swimming pool manufacturers, I would type swimming pools. I wouldn't type it in London because there wouldn't be very many people wanting swimming pools in London, but somewhere like Perth, it's business. That allows you to target both location and specific industries. So you can target your customers, your target audience.
Wow.
Right? It's very, very useful. That's very powerful.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff, Steve. Very cool stuff. Is this Crowdfire app free, or how much does it cost per month?
No. This one, if we go to, I click there, got the pricing. This is the one.
Okay.
You've got a free limited account.
Right.
That makes sense. So you can try it, see how it is.
Right.
The one most people will use will be this one, the $9.99 a month one.
Right.
That's the one I use, the $10 a month one.
Yep.
Okay.
But I use this one. That's why it's got unsubscribe on it.
Right.
I actually bought that on a Black Friday. I cancelled a normal subscription and then upgraded to this one on a Black Friday. So I actually get this one for $10 a month.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and I use that because I use an auto DM, which is an auto direct message. So anybody that follows me, after a certain amount of time, they will get a message from me automated through WhatsApp.
Well, I'm curious, how do you set that auto direct message up?
I'll show you in a second.
Sure.
These are the things. So I can have 5 accounts. I can manage 5 Twitter accounts up here.
Oh, okay.
And then they go up and up.
Right.
So, very easy. It's very useful. Everyone should check it out, or check out Social Umph or another one of these tools. You need one of these tools really to grow, and it's well worth the investment. Well worth the investment. If you want to automate a tweet, you click automate down the bottom left.
Excellent.
There. And you can have more than one. So if I was to add another message in, there, so I've got one at the bottom saying join me on LinkedIn. I could have this one saying join me on Facebook if I wanted. If I actually like Facebook, I might say that. And then what would happen is select one at random for each person. So each time it would select a random one of these and then send it out. And next time select another random, and off we go. And incidentally, most people that like Twitter don't like Facebook. It's one of those strange facts. It's very few people that like both, because you have to spend a lot of time on Facebook to make it work. You spend a fair amount of time on Twitter making it work because it's very, very addictive.
Right.
You can also copy other people's followers by going in here and selecting a name. So if I was to type in, what's your name, Bill? Bill
_com.
So if I type that, you see, it'll pull up all Bill's followers. There we go. He's obviously doing that with me, and then he's clicking the plus, and you click the plus and you can follow him. I've obviously hit my limit, but and off we go. I was just looking what she was eating. It's an insect of some description. Got some strange followers, Bill. But there we go. And that literally all you do is you click plus until you reach your limit for the day. And then you do a similar amount of unfollows for that day. So if I follow 1,000 people, or unfollow about 1,000 people, I tend to keep my unfollowers around 5,000. I've got 5,000. So that gives someone 5 days to follow me after I follow them. Otherwise, I'm not following them. If that makes sense.
So how long does it take you to do each day?
This, about 15 minutes. Maybe 20. And then I've got my engagement phrase where I'm speaking to people and talking. That's probably another 30 to 40 minutes. I'll probably spend about an hour on Twitter a day. If I'm being good, let's be honest.
Right.
But it's well worth. Twitter's the only social media platform you can actively grow. You don't need permission. You don't need anything. You follow people, they will follow you back. You can actually see it growing day in, day out. You can't do that on Facebook. You can't do that on LinkedIn, anything. Twitter's like a global telephone. If I wanted to send a message to the President of the United States, in theory, if I found his Twitter address, I could send him a message. Whether he'd get a reply is a different thing, but in theory, you can send anyone a message. Not a direct message, a tweet. You can send anyone a tweet. You can't send anyone that's not following you a direct message. That makes sense?
Yep.
So we've done Hootsuite. We've done the basics of growing your following, which is to get an app like this and to follow people. Now we're going to talk about Twitter stats. Now, when you first have a Twitter account, you don't have stats in it. You have to go to analytics.twitter.com. Once you go there the first time, you will have Twitter stats. It's just one of those things. And once you've got Twitter stats, you go to your profile, click there, and you go to analytics down there. And then you get all sorts of nice figures. So at the moment, I'm sending in the last 28 days. You always get a 28-day summary. You used to be able to change this, but they stopped it. But they brought in some lots of cool features, which I really like. So every 28 days, I'm sending 6,500 tweets. My impressions have gone up to 7.7 million. Profile visits, I'm down at the moment this month, but my profile visits are at 41,000 per month. Mentions, 2,600. Followers, I'm down to 8,700 this month. I've grown 8,700, which is down from the 12,000 I used to be getting, because I'm going more targeted now. I have phases where I grow social media, and then I have phases where I target down. And tweets linking to me. No, stop clicking.
Hey, Bill, you're, yeah, okay.
Right, and then you get stuff like this, Twitter activity. So you can see which tweets have worked. Like that one's been retweeted 30 times, favoured 52. That's the biggest person that's mentioned me. Tweets like this. My latest follower this month is someone from South Korea. He's got 1.71 million.
Holy cow.
Well, that's not my highest. We can go down further.
You don't know what he's saying about you, though.
But he doesn't know what I'm saying about him either. Here's one with 3.47. Someone from the States, some music person. And we've got lots of followers. Just because it says it's a music producer or whatever, it doesn't actually mean it's that person. You've got to remember, it could be their social media team of all these big famous people. They normally have teams managing things like this, and they will follow people like me to try and learn what I'm doing so that they can use it. Then you can click buttons like this, tweets. And this is one I really like. Look at this, look, problems. You see, live webinar, problems. Here we go. So this tells you my 7.8 million impressions. This tells you each tweet, so you can see what the engagement is. So that's, you know, number of impressions, 4 people have done something. That's clicked a button, clicked a picture to make it larger. There's some sort of engagement, and it tells you if you click here what that each one means. So you get impressions, engagement rate, which is the percentage. These are what I like to look at. Engagement rate. When that starts to go down, or when that starts to go right up, it's normally when you're having a conversation. Like I'll throw a tweet out saying, has anyone got any questions about such and such? Or anyone got any topic ideas to write an article about? And you'll get an answer, and your engagement with your audience will go up as a result. This here is link cloud. These are the number of people that have clicked links within the tweets I've sent out. And as I generally send out tweets from my blog, that's lots of visitors to my website. Retweets 13.9, favorites 21.8, and replies 1.3 thousand. So I'm getting lots of replies to tweets, etc. Lots of engagement. And content is the key to engagement. You have to do personal tweets, but you have to do engagement tweets, which is content. And content drives everything to do with social media, which means, unfortunately, you've got to get writing. There's no easy way, is there, Bill?
No, there is not.
You have to get writing. You have to write and write and write. And once you've got a wealth of content, you can send tweets out. I send a tweet out approximately every 14 to 16 minutes. And I have a wealth of articles. I've got probably over 1,000 now. And I choose the last 500 or so and select one at random, and off it goes. I use a tool to send my tweets out, my automated tweets, called Revive Old Post.
That's what I use.
And that allows me to set it up in WordPress and send my tweets out with an image, and it's very, very good. But you have to have the content there to do it, otherwise you're wasting your time. You might as well use Hootsuite and schedule through that if you haven't got the content, because at least with Hootsuite you can plug in RSS feeds of other people and send them tweets out yourself that way. So we've done that with followers. Now, Twitter introduced some really interesting stats. There's the only people doing this. So if you look at this, these are my followers, like follower size. This shows my growth overall. my gender of followers, I've got 74% of people following me are male and 26% are female. We've got their income, the net worth, what they're interested in, and their occupation. We've got their marital status and their education level. So from a marketing perspective, this is extremely useful. It's the only stats program that's giving you this information. You know, you can go graphics and going further. There's all sorts of stats. So I can see where people are coming from. As you see, 40% of the people following me are from the States, 11% from the UK, Canada, India, which is growing, is now at 4%. That's done quite well. And off we go. House values. It's just amazing. See, big in California. Oh.
That's me.
Yeah. But no, it's very, very useful to get all these stats, lifestyles, consumer behaviour, etc. Look at consumer goods purchases. See, everyone buys cheese. Keep telling the wife that. And then we got the wireless carriers. So that is your Twitter stats. We've done that. Let's show you my Google stats.
Holy cow.
Hey, Steve, a quick question here from John. Which tool were you referring to in order to revive a tweet?
Revive old post. If you type that into Google, Revive old post. It's a WordPress plugin. There's a free version and a premium version.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it allows you to tweet out blog posts. The premium version is the one that allows you to tweet it out with an image. It's well worth the money.
It is.
So
it's a WordPress plugin, right?
Yep. It is a WordPress plugin. Try it with the free version to make sure it's compatible with your other plugins, and then upgrade and off you go. Very, very useful.
Nice.
And when you add the image, it'll double your engagement.
Yeah, literally.
So it's well worth it.
Interesting.
These are the visitors I get each month from Twitter. So I'm getting 13,700 people from Twitter there. See, these are my social. This is just my social media input. These are my visitors from social media each month,
right,
to my site. So Twitter is my number one. I get more visitors from Twitter's more important to me now than Google, because I target an audience and I'm getting more and more visitors. And to be able to say that is amazing, because everybody's worried about SEO except me, because I worry about Twitter.
Hey, Steve, I'm curious, what could someone, I call it damage, what kind of good damage can someone do in 1 year? By damage, I mean progress. Someone who's maybe starting out.
I grew my account to 100,000 people in 1 year.
Yeah.
So I went from literally 1 to 200 people,
right,
to 100,000 in 1 year. And Bill watched most of that. I think I met Bill when I had 35,000 followers.
Wow.
And then he watched me go from there.
So I started in June. I showed you my numbers at the beginning. June 14th, I had 11,000 people. I've got 23,000 people now. And if I continue at this same pace, by December, I will have between 60 and 80,000 followers.
Right. So
I mean, legitimate, hardworking, it's not just random people. So yeah, just doing what Steve told me, I'm growing at about 1,600 people per week.
Sure. So one question I'm getting, which I'm sure all three of us could answer really, but for the sake of the audience, I think one question people are asking is, how much money can we really make if we engage this many followers? What kind of numbers or statistics can we talk about in terms of engagement turning into dollars, perhaps, for people? Can you maybe speak to that a little bit, Steve, or your experience? Yeah.
It comes to overall strategy. My overall strategy is to obviously have my blog, which is my center of my universe.
Yep.
And then I have my social media where I promote my blog. So Twitter's my main one.
Yes.
But from Twitter, I drive people from Twitter to LinkedIn. So I use Twitter, LinkedIn,
Yes.
my automated DMs to direct messages, direct people to LinkedIn. So I'm connecting with them on Twitter,
Yep.
LinkedIn, and I'm promoting on both those platforms my blog. Right? So my idea is that wherever they go on those platforms, they're hitting my content.
Right.
So how much money you can make? That makes, you know, how valuable is your product?
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you're selling something for $30, you're not going to make any money unless you get huge numbers. If you're selling something for $30,000, it's going to take you longer to get that right engagement. Now, I don't want to avoid that question either, but that's kind of a, you know, loaded question. But I'll give you a concrete example. Now, I started June 14th. I keep saying that. This last week, so I signed somebody up, and we have a follow-up on Monday. It's going to be a 4-figure per month account. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how that is, because the price point doesn't matter. But it's a real person. So out of these first 11,000 people, this is just one example. I got a real person. We ended up engaging. She called me up. We talked, and now we're meeting up again. She's going to sign me. Off we go. So to Steve's point, if you don't engage with real people, you're not going to make any money.
That's
you
absolutely
just on automatic. You expect people to send money to you. Good luck with that. Let me know how it works for you.
Sure.
You have to deal with real people. You have to pick the phone up sooner or later.
Right. Right.
And yeah, I make money from Twitter. Believe me, lots of it.
I believe you. Yeah, I believe.
Well, we're going to Lagos in Nigeria in November. That came I think that came via Twitter and LinkedIn from the strategy. I'm about to sign a €50,000 deal per year.
Right.
From Twitter again. Lots and lots of work comes from Twitter.
Yeah. Good. I hope people are hearing that, because that's, I think, important to understand. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't make the connection very easily. So I'm glad.
If you remember at the start, I said it's about building relationships.
Sure.
You have to build the relationship. You use your content to build trust, and then you engage with people and build that friendship so that they will give you that work.
Yep. Great.
Do you have something else there, Steve, before we open up the Q&A, or?
No, fine now. We can finish in it whenever you wish.
All right, so we'll turn it over to you. Why don't you take it back and
Okay.
do the Q&A.
Right. Give me 1 second here. Okay. You know, I think the main question for all three of us probably is, what are the stages if we were to do this over a year and help people get 100,000 followers? You know, what are the primary stages? I know we mentioned getting the profile down straight, and I know you mentioned a couple of things. Maybe do a quick summary on that, Steve, on what the stages are. You know, the primary stages of what people need to accomplish, milestones, significant milestones over the next year that they need to follow up on.
Your main milestone is to click the right buttons. Your main milestone is to get your profile right.
Yep.
Is to work out who your target audience is so that you follow the right people, else you'll never make sales.
Right.
And then literally to get onto an app like this, Crowdfire,
yep,
and start following. Follow your daily limit every day, and then unfollow the people that aren't following you. If you do that every single day, get a VA to do it if it's more cost effective, but do it every single day, and within 12 months, you will have between 50 and 100,000 followers, no matter what niche you're in.
Right. Got it.
But you still have to have some quality there somewhere. I mean, if you don't have something worth people engaging in, nobody's going to care. They're going to start unfollowing you because you have nothing to offer them.
Okay. Another question here for Steve. Would you do this for each project you're working on, or would you put it all together into one account? I work on 3 or 4 projects at a time. This is from Betty.
it depends. Are they the same target audience? If they're different target audiences, it's different. You see, I work on one account because it's so time consuming, but my audience is the same for whatever I'm basically marketing, if that makes sense.
Correct.
So as a marketer, we have an appeal to a whole lot of people in a whole lot of areas. The problem is with the basket maker, they go out looking for other basket makers, and nobody cares because they're the basket maker too. So you have to figure out who your target audience. Use Steve's a keyword follower, for example, and start aiming toward that person. You might not need 100,000 followers. You just might need 1,000 or 20,000 of the right followers. You need to be smart about who you're chasing.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't I reclaim the host here and
Steve, that was cool. That was you know what would really be. I'm sorry to interrupt there, Steve. What would really be fun is to compare your numbers and a couple other power users, and compare numbers and see what works across the board.
They all do it similar to how I do it, except that most of them won't tell you the full secrets of how they do it for some strange reason.
Well, see, realizing how time intensive this is, I hired a virtual assistant. She works for me, does a bunch of stuff, but then she'll spend an hour and a half like you do, except I get her to do that for me. And that's extremely valuable to me because that hour is important. I can pay her $3-4 an hour very fairly, and she's very happy, and I'm not abusing that by any means, but I get the same results.
I'm a little paranoid about my Twitter account. With there's constantly people trying to hack in and all sorts, and I know people that have lost Twitter accounts from people hacking in. So my Twitter account now works on the basis that if you're going to sign in, you've got to provide a password that then sends an SMS message to me, and I have to enter in a keyword. So no one's getting into my Twitter account.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I guess there's a trust factor, and I've been working with this person for a very long time, so I trust her.
Yeah. Well, I want to really thank you, Steve. I mean, I was taking notes furiously here, and I think that the primary takeaway is, I mean, that's a lot of great stuff that I didn't even realize you could do on Twitter to really build a following and build it solidly for generating business. And what Bill and I are trying to do is to gauge where people are at right now, because we've built our meetup following, and it took a couple of years to do that. And it takes a while to build stuff. Sometimes it doesn't take a couple of years, but the proper strategy, the having the right product to sell are also important key things to have. I mean, if you have a powerful engine but you don't have a right direction to take stuff in, then you may end up with a powerful engine taking you nowhere. So what Bill and I want to do is to find out where your gap is. Now that you've heard what this powerful engine can do for your Twitter, and there are other engines as well out there, including your blogging and your LinkedIn as well. What you want to look at, what we invite you to look at for each of you who are listening in is, what is your gap? Do you have a clear enough strategy? Do you have a clear enough offering? Do you have a clear target audience? If we get you 50,000 people following, are they the right people who are going to follow you? And so we're offering, I know some of you are still having questions. I see some of them going, we'll get your questions here soon too. But we're offering a free, it's free for now, complimentary strategy sessions. And you can get that by going to myvipss.com. And if you go to that website, myvipss.com, it'll take you to an application for a session with one of us, with Bill or I. You want to scroll right down to the bottom where the form is and fill out your questions there, and your name and information as well, and fill out the information that we request so we can answer those questions. Then we'll be happy to get back with you and schedule a time with you. Okay, a couple other questions here for you, Steve, from Tristan. Is there any way to schedule tweets on Twitter like how you can on Facebook business page? I think you kind of covered that, but maybe go over that again a little bit with Tristan.
You can either use Hootsuite or the WordPress plugin that was Revive Old Post. Hootsuite allows you to do it easily, and it's free.
Great. Okay, awesome. Okay.
Hootsuite's probably, I've never used Hootsuite. It's pretty powerful, but Revive Old Post, you want to make sure it's compatible.
Yeah.
I tried it. I had some issues, and I emailed them, and we worked it out, and off we went. But you want to make sure that your WordPress, if it's a WordPress blog you're using, you want to make sure that the Revive Old Post is compatible. There are others, but Revive Old Post works like gold for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Install the free version, get it to work, and then upgrade.
Yeah. So Hootsuite, for those of you who are asking, is HOOTSUITE. Hootsuite.
Yep.
Like our hoot. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, you're welcome, John. Thank you for. So a lot of thanks, a lot of acknowledgement for you, Steve, and for us as well. Thank you. We keep glad we provided service here for you. Make sure you go to. I know the important thing here is for most people, this sounds really great. I know some of you are starting out in business or starting out in your blogs, your projects. Some of you are in midterm. If you're struggling with trying to really get to the next level, you've been struggling for a while and you're not getting anywhere, then you may want to apply to a VIP session for this simple reason, because we want to identify those things really quickly that are halting you or stopping you in your tracks and get you past that. Most of the time, what's stopping you is not an aha. It's mostly a duh. You already knew it. But you needed maybe someone else to help you see what that is. And the most important thing is if you get past that hurdle, that's what accelerates you to getting 50,000, 100,000 followers in the next year. That's what happened with me and for Bill as well. We went out, we asked other people, we talked to other people, we talked to other people who had been doing it. We've done it ourselves, and we want to share this information with you. But we want to make sure that you apply for the session in a fairly rigorous manner, and you give us the information that makes sense for us to help you answer those questions. So make sure you go to myvipss.com, fill out the form there, and apply for a session to have a time with Bill and or I to answer those questions. Let me see if there are any other questions here before we sign off. Hey, you're welcome, Tony. We appreciate your thanks. What Tony said is thanks so much for all the information, super helpful. John C., thanks again. It's great. Tristan, I think you got your question answered. Yeah, that's right, got that. Okay, good. It sounds like we answered all the questions so far. Anything else you guys want to say to be complete on our call, Bill or Steve? No,
sorry, we went a little bit long, but man, it's golden. It's even longer for Steve because now it's after 1 a.m. for him.
I don't sleep. I'll go on Bill's forum now and chat on Bill's forum for a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
and he'll be up at 4 a.m. again. The guy never sleeps. No wonder he has no hair.
I'm getting that myself. But Steve, thank you very much again. We appreciate you very much for your.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks a lot, Sunil. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you on a VIP session, or we'll see you at a local meetup if you happen to be in the Bay Area.
And don't forget, we have our next webinar next Friday at 10 a.m. We'll send out a notification. Make sure you opt in if you haven't opted in yet. Again,
what's the topic?
And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
All right, goodbye.
Great. Again, just before I close, make sure you go to myvipss.com. I know some of you are emailing me and asking me that question. It's myvipss.com. And make sure you apply there. So we're going to end this webinar here pretty soon. But I'll put this up again in case those of you are unable to see the screen. All right, great. Thank you again very much. And we'll see you again next Friday at 10 a.m. And wish you all a great day here. And have a good Saturday and or Sunday, depending on which part of the world you're at. We'll see you soon. Take care.